I'm here to give some hope to the Jets today.
Hope for what?
Hope that the season is not lost.
Lost? Like, what do you mean lost?
Well,
like hope that they're going to be 9-7 or something, and 9-8.
That they're going to be a playoff team and a formidable playoff team. I can't tell you that they're going to go to the Super Bowl. That would be silly. Aaron Rodgers has a torn Achilles. It's been confirmed. 4 snaps last night. That's all there was of the Aaron Rodgers in 2023 with the New York Jets. The era might be over completely.
Okay. Yeah, I'm done with that. You think the New York Jets, the New York football Jets, are going to be a formidable playoff team?
I do. And
define
you want to know
formidable.
Why? This is why. And this is why I'm going to give the hope to the Jets fans or anyone who was hoping the Jets would be interesting this year. I don't know. They're not going to be Rodgers, ayahuasca, dark retreat type interesting. But why can't the Jets be the San Francisco 49ers? Why can't they just find a quarterback who can play point guard / point guard plus, which is exactly what Brock Purdy says he is for the 49ers. You have an amazing defense. I mean, I don't know if it's the 85 Bears and the Legion of Boom, as DJ Reed says, but it is very, very good. You have playmakers on offense. You've got Breece Hall, who looks like he's all the way back from an ACL. You added Dalvin Cook. Garrett Wilson's touchdown reception. Even Joe Buck lost his mind on that one last night. And you have other serviceable receivers. Your offensive line is not as good as the 49ers, and your head coach isn't as good as Kyle Shanahan. But all is not lost here. You can still win with this formula.
So Brock Purdy took over a team, the bones of a team that had been to the Super Bowl in 2019, had been to the NFC title game the year before he got there. What had the Jets been like? That was a great, great roster. And I'm so sorry, but first of all, the Niners defense is better than the Jets defense. The Niners defense has Nick Bosa and Fred Warner. It's ridiculous. And the weapons are better on the Niners. And also, Purdy's about 4 years older than Zach Wilson, has played 20 times more football. And I just don't see, this seems crazy to me.
I never said Zach Wilson was going to be the point guard. I never said Zach Wilson was going to be the point guard because I don't think Zach Wilson can play point guard. I don't think that's in his game. You need somebody who's just a lot more just competent than Zach Wilson. Zach Wilson still looks like deer in headlights and can't make the throws, and he
made some nice throws last night.
Well, the Garrett Wilson, that was all on Wilson, that touchdown reception.
He had 2 20-yard passes to Wilson that were awesome.
Well, and that's also ridiculous because the Bills' defense was not being aggressive. Again, we'll get to the Bills in a moment.
But at least he knows the system. So you're going to bring in a Brock Purdy. At least got to spend the offseason there from whatever the draft was on. How is this point guard going to learn the plays? You're going to have a Nathaniel Hackett acolyte? You want one of Nathaniel Hackett's former quarterbacks?
Step up Blake Bortles. Has anyone seen Blake Bortles? No, you're going to have somebody who in the first week can learn 15 plays. In the second week can get more of the playbook, and then more and more and more. And you're just going to have to build incrementally, and you're going to have your great defense, and you're going to have your playmakers who can do the work for you. Now, their schedule doesn't do them any favors. You got to turn around and go to Dallas and play the Cowboys, and that's going to be extremely difficult. But there is a chance to right this ship. It's happened so early in the season. I'm not saying it's a gift. I'm not silver lining this thing at all for Jets fans. I'm not that stupid. But it happened earlier in the season where you still have a shot. Plus, you just started 1-0 last night, so you're ahead of the 8 ball.
Has there ever been a mid-season quarterback trade that has created a formidable playoff team? Nothing is popping to mind.
Well, maybe not a trade, but again, you're so early in the season.
Yeah, but guys have not spent the entire summer with this team. Like, for example, Tom Brady's name's been thrown around. Yeah. You're telling me Tom Brady's going to come in midway between week 1 and 2 in an offense he's never played in, get to know all the receivers, get to know all the play calls, and he's never going to put himself in that position because whoever comes in here is going to look bad.
Okay. You were the one who said that if Aaron Rodgers was having an MVP-like season and putting up those numbers for the Jets, that would have been a bad sign.
That was very clear because they can run the ball, and that's what they should be doing.
Right, because you don't need Rodgers to be that amazing of a quarterback in order for this team to be good. Okay, so you're talking about basically simplifying things. That's what you're talking about. You can still effectively run the ball, and if you just play smart and you don't turn the ball over, look at how many games that can win you in the NFL. Hell, the Bills just handed you a game last night.
Right.
Belichick always says this. You got to learn how to not lose before you can learn how to win. You can squeak out a lot of games by just not losing the game, and there was case in point last night.
So, okay, The New York Jets are going to buck a 104-year historical trend in the NFL, be the first team ever to trade midseason for a quarterback or sign a quarterback.
It's not midseason. It's week 2.
Well, whatever. The guy has not out of camp. And is he going to be ready for week 2? He won't be ready till week 3 because they're not putting him out against the Cowboys.
Okay, Jimmy Garoppolo was traded midseason, and they won 5 in a row.
Completely meaningless
Okay,
games.
But you asked me for an example, and I just gave one there.
And that was a formidable playoff team? No, they didn't even make the playoffs.
They didn't because they were in such a hole from before.
Right, those were meaningless games. And by the way, it was the worst thing that ever happened because then they gave them all this money based on those 5 games.
Well, they went to the Super Bowl the next year.
Yeah, I mean, but paying Jimmy G that money was crazy.
Okay, but agree to disagree, okay?
I just think that, first of all...
All's not lost here from the Jets.
Let's look at my friend Case Keenum, who's been thrown out as a possible name for the Jets. In 2018, I think, the year of the Minneapolis Miracle, he took over for an injured Sam Bradford in week 2 or something. But he'd been playing that exact offense for 6 years, the Gary Kubiak, Mike Shanahan offense. He knew it better than the coaches did because, Case was pretty old at that point. He came in the league at 25.
Also, he was in college for 7 years, so I'm assuming he had a PhD in something.
He knew that offense like the back of his hand. I do think that's a huge factor. So I don't think he can bring in someone off the street, teach him the offense, and then say, all right, here you go, especially against that schedule. I think that's way too much to ask. I think Zach Wilson's going to start until he completely
So you just
implodes.
think the Jets are done,
No,
over
I think they're going to be kind of like last year. Last year they were, 7-10? I think they improve a little bit on that, maybe 8, 9, 10 wins.
And miss the playoffs.
They might sneak in as a wild card, but they, kind of like the Patriots 2 years ago with Mac Jones. Like, they'll have no prayer in the opening. If they do make it as a wild card, they'll just get blown out in the first round.
Okay. I think they're going to be a formidable team because once you actually get to the playoffs, which I think the Jets still have a very good chance of doing, I know that's crazy, but I still think so. What's the thing that wins you playoff games? Defense and running the ball.
Well, I know, but isn't this very similar to last year's Jets team? Like, what's the major difference to you? Just that Garrett Wilson's a year older?
No, that. They added Dalvin Cook. Breece Hall and hopefully is healthy for an entire season. You added on the defense. Like, you've done a good job here. So here's the thing. I know Samter is sick to his stomach right now, but I'm not letting you, Samter, denounce your Jets fandom. I'm sorry. You've rolled with this franchise this long. You can't jump off the bandwagon now.
I'm off.
That's ridiculous.
I'm off.
You've got to stay on. We have to tie you to this thing.
No, I'm done. I mean, you're a Bills fan. You've had 4 Super Bowls where you saw it happen.
I was a child.
You're a Mets fan. You've been through a few years.
Are you trying to make me feel better or worse?
Eventually, you just have to give up. When your franchise is cursed and the sports gods are against you, you just have to give up. It's not worth the heartache. I haven't been this depressed about sports in over a decade. Last night I was inconsolable.
You turned the game off last night.
I turned the game off, and at no point did I turn it back on, and I will not watch the Jets again for the rest of the season.
Ooh.
Why didn't you turn the game back on when you took the lead in the fourth quarter?
Because winning a Week 1 game does not remove the curse that this franchise will face for the rest of the franchise's history. The Jets need to fold as a team. They need to no longer exist. I will no longer be a fan. The Jets are cursed. It's all because Joe Namath guaranteed a Super Bowl win in Super Bowl III, 1968, and the Jets have been cursed ever since. Vinny Testaverde, Chad Pennington, Mark Sanchez, the butt fumble, Sam Darnold seeing ghosts, Zach Wilson, and now Aaron Rodgers. We're jinxed. We're cursed. It's over. I'm done.
Wait. What if this scenario unfolded? What if they had lost as they should have last night, and then they start losing, and then they start losing a few more games, and then they go Zach Wilson with some bad backup, then... If Caleb Williams was in New York next year, would that get you back on board?
No, because if they got the number 1 pick overall, then Caleb Williams would stay in college, and we would not get him. We would get Drake May.
It's like Peyton Manning.
The curse would continue. We'd get Drake May, and Drake May would do what all other UNC quarterbacks do in the NFL and suck.
He'd be the Mitch Trubisky, too.
We can dream.
Well, we have to give Mike credit. That is a consistent, sustained take on a realistic take. He's closer to reality than you are with this formidable playoff team.
Dude, Samter said he's about to become a Chiefs fan. Do you realize?
Not about to. I am now a Chiefs fan.
Get out of here.
No.
Get out of here.
Well, you're going to jinx the Chiefs, too.
Yeah, you think they want you coming over?
I'm not the jinx.
Become a Chiefs fan, please.
I'm also a Yankees fan, right? I've seen 5 World Series, so I'm not a jinx. The Jets are the jinx.
What have the Yankees done lately, though?
2009 was reasonable enough.
Oh, boy.
All right,
855-212-4CBS. Yes.
I got a side bet. Who wins more games this year, the Buffalo Bills or the New York Jets? And can I, real quick, before we move on.
That is a hell of a bet.
No way. I'll bet my mortgage, which I don't have because I rent, on the Bills winning more. The Bills, I know exactly what happened last night. You can talk about Josh Allen's turnovers and all that.
Yeah.
They clearly had a huge emotional letdown after Aaron Rodgers got hurt. Listen, this is a team that went through DeMar Hamlin.
You think that's what happened?
Oh, you could see the wind get sucked out of their sails so badly last night.
The wind gets sucked out of their sails? They should have been licking their chops.
No, they basically, they thought they had the game won. Everything they did, Josh Allen never even considered they were going to lose the game until the fourth quarter. They clearly lost their edge after that play.
Do you realize if that's actually true?
Definitely
if
true.
Even an iota of that is actually true, then the Bills would be the most mentally weak team in the history of the NFL.
Did you watch last year? They are a team that attracts huge emotional games in prime time.
Okay,
and then things happen and yes, maybe they're not tough enough, but it is a little ridiculous that they're always here for these momentous events.
Well, if the best player on the other team goes down, you can't all of a sudden be taken out of your game. That to me would be even worse, and an even worse indictment on the Bills than what I actually saw last night. Which is...
It's one game. Stop with indictment.
It's not.
Same thing happened to the Chiefs on Thursday night.
The Chiefs had excuses with no Kelsey and no Chris Jones. But Joe Burrow has an excuse that he was injured in the preseason and didn't play any preseason or training camp. This was the Bills at full strength, coming in with a wounded opponent who got hurt in 4 snaps. The franchise quarterback goes out the window, and they couldn't finish the job.
Right, but then they'll go ahead and win a bunch of other games because they're a pretty good team.
No.
They're not going to win all.
Can I hear Josh Allen, please, Stu? Can I hear Josh Allen on his bad game against the Jets?
Yeah, trying to force the ball. Yeah, same place, different day.
Exactly. He knows it, but he can't do anything about it. They know what they're doing, and Josh Allen has to know what he's doing is hurting the team. And this goes back to last season, and I'm not a big, last season bleeds into this season. But when it's Josh Allen, you have to just stare this in the face. Ever since that Bears game on New Year's Eve of last year, he has been a turnover machine. Earth to Josh Allen, you're not going to win the Super Bowl on every play. He's got to understand that. He has to be smarter. And I'm sorry if this counts as a meltdown. I don't care. We can take the board and we can just shove it in the hallway and push it down the stairs because I can't do this again. He's so good on some plays and so god-awful on others. He's got to be smarter. He's got to realize that the franchise is on his shoulders, but he can't act like the game is on his hand on every down. Perloff, he's got to be smarter.
He could play left-handed and lead the Bills to more wins than the Jets this year. There is no way the Jets finish with a better record than the Buffalo Bills. There's 0.0 way.
I mean, I'm tempted to shake you on it. Now, here's the thing for the Bills. They have a long way to go, and if this is actually a wake-up call / kick in the ass, then great. They can't keep Josh Allen. I'm not going to say they. Josh Allen can't keep playing this way. The all or nothing, I know it's worked for other guys.
You're overreacting like it's out of control. Like you did on Sunday. This is week 1. It doesn't mean anything.
Perloff, Josh Allen just said, same bleep, different day. It's not just about week 1. This has been going back to last year.
You understand, though, it's an 18-week schedule. Whatever happens in week 1, we have to fight the urge to act like this is the way it's going to be moving forward. It's week 1.
Okay.
It was a weird game. First of all, it was pouring rain 2 hours before they had to take
Stop with the rain and the weather. Honestly, stop with the weather.
You don't think that that field was a mess for Aaron Rodgers? This whole game was bizarre. Allen was completely off his rhythm.
It was definitely
completely off his rhythm, and he never even thought he was going to lose. That's why he threw the ball down. It's like, what's the difference? We're going to beat the Jets anyway. Zach Wilson's out there. So he totally lost his mental edge. Zach Wilson beat them
last year. That kind of hubris then is another thing that will get you in trouble.
It's not Hamlet. Stop. It's week 1. They're going to win next week, and you're not even going to remember this.
You can't have it both ways. You can't say they were rattled because Rodgers went down, and then also say they knew that they were going to win the whole time.
Yeah, they lost their edge. That's what I mean. They lost their edge. They thought when Rodgers went down, they actually said, we won this game.
Then that's weak. Because it's the NFL and you can never...
It obviously happened to the Chiefs. The Chiefs were up in the fourth quarter at Arrowhead. Did you think it even dawned on Patrick Mahomes he might lose that game? He totally lost his edge in that game, and they gave up the game to the Lions.
What evidence did the Bills have throughout that game that they were obviously going to win that game?
They were up 13-3 on the New York Jets with Zach Wilson. If that's not evidence, then there is no evidence on planet Earth. That is the most obvious evidence of ever.
They should have been up 30-3. That's the evidence. They should have been up 30-3, not 13-3.
The live bet was 500-1 or something. It was
Aaron Rodgers goes out and they decide to kick a field goal when they're facing a 4th and 2 at the 30. Just freaking go for it. Just be aggressive at the right times. Set a tone. And don't just think you have it in the bag, because they didn't. And the Jets have always played the Bills right. This is the meltdown. You guys are witnessing the meltdown. We're 16 minutes into the show.
We witnessed the meltdown. It already says zeros behind you. I don't know who changed it, but somebody went back there and changed the 22 to a 0.
I can't just keep giving them passes like that. They're great. They're great. They're great. If you're great, then you beat Zach Wilson's Jets. If you're great, you beat Zach Wilson's Jets.
It's one game.
It's been going on since last year. Yeah. Josh Allen said, "Same bleep, different day."
Same place, different day.
Well, let's make a heavy bet on this one, though, because I am so confident I will win this bet. Unless Josh Allen gets hurt, there is no way the Jets have a better record than the Bills. There is no way.
Here's the thing.
I go at the end of the month. If the Bills have a worse record than the Jets at the end of the month, then I will come to your house and clean it once a week for the next 5 years.
That's tempting. I really think. This is why I'm going to hesitate to take that bet right this moment.
Because it's insane?
No, not because it's insane. Because I don't know who the Jets are bringing in. They have to bring in somebody. It's not going to be Zach Wilson for the rest of the year, right? They have to bring in somebody.
Oh, man.
That will determine whether I think I'm going to take this bet.
You should not take this bet, because this bet is crazy.
I hope I don't need to. But
What do you mean? So wait.
I hope that you're not right, and I hope that they're not vying here, but everyone has been penciling in the Bills like this is fine. Good teams, really good teams, elite teams win that game last night.
So Jets, by the way, just back to Jets for 1 second. Buffalo, they beat Buffalo, who they were trailing. Crazy game. At Dallas, 10-point dogs. Versus New England, they could win that game. Then they got Kansas City, at Denver, and the Eagles. You honestly,
brutal schedule.
You see a lot of wins there?
No, we said that from the jump. The Jets schedule was brutal. And
you think Buffalo is going to basically end up worse than that?
No, but here's the thing about the Jets now. The Jets now, no pressure. All of this is off. All that hard knock stuff and Rodgers and the Super Bowl expectations. The pressure is gone, yet the team is still good. So you have that. Meanwhile, the Bills beat themselves last night. Sean McDermott said it after the game. They played two opponents. They played the Jets and they played themselves. And they lost on both occasions. So you got to get out of your own way first. And I'm not sure that the Bills can get out of their own way.
Okay.
Look, play Stu's Raiders next week, coming off of a big win over Denver.
Stu's, who's going to have more wins this year, the Bills or the Jets?
I still think the Bills.
Yeah, you, me, and everyone else except for Maggie Gray.
Listen, I'm not taking that bet yet. We still have a lot of things to settle here.
You're not taking that bet. You have to take that bet.
No, we have a lot of things to settle here with the Jets. Like, who's going to play quarterback for them? Who's going to be this point guard? Who's going to do it?
Oh, man. First of all, you acknowledge that it is a little challenging to come in after, basically after week 2 and learn the whole thing and be so great?
Definitely. But do you think that Joe Douglas is on the phone today?
He's on the phone, but I think Zach Wilson keeps that job for a while until he loses it. Just hand the ball off.
To who? Tim Boyle?
Who? To Breece Hall? I'm saying, no, they bring in a veteran who's going to back up, but I don't think that backup's going to play anytime soon. I assume Zach Wilson can all you're going to do is hand the ball off. Just do that. Zach Wilson can do that. By the way, he wasn't bad last night. 14 for 21, 1 touchdown, 1 pick. He had some really, really nice throws to Wilson. He really likes Wilson. It's like a different
everyone likes throwing to Garrett Wilson. He's so awesome. The one thing about Zach Wilson, though, is that he keeps going backwards. There's a lot of plays. Yes, he's got a good arm. He can make some nice throws, but there's a lot of plays where he's just running backwards, and that happened, and the Bills were chasing him out last night.
Yeah, but I know Peyton hated it, but it didn't really kill them. I mean, he did throw the ball out of bounds, and none of those running backwards plays hurt the Jets at all.
Well, they couldn't keep drives alive. I mean...
Oh, yeah. I mean, there was either run backwards or get sacked on that spot.